So welcome. Hi. We're going to do some yoga today for improving circulation and helping to hopefully helping to mitigate some of the condition around Raynaud syndrome. So Raynaud syndrome, from articles on the internet by doctors, has to do with the difficulty, challenges in circulation in the extremities, which can also be in the head and fingers and toes, hands and feet. And one of the problems people with Raynaud syndrome that have been studied is the amount of nitric oxide in the system. And so there's a couple of articles on the web by doctors where they've increased the amount of nitric oxide in people and found that the problems with Raynaud syndrome have gone down. The circulation has improved when nitric oxide is administered. So what we're going to do is look at how yoga can help us with circulation and help us with nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is a naturally occurring gas in the body that is produced in the nasal passages. When we breathe through our nose, the nasal passages are stimulated and we get nitric oxide in our system. Nitric oxide is really important for the circulation of blood and the health and openness of capillaries in our fingers and toes. It decreases when we're stressed. It also decreases, apparently, I've heard, when we use a lot of mouthwash. So you have to be careful about that. What increases nitric oxide is breathing through the nose and humming breath. In yoga, we call the humming breath the bee's breath, like the insect, the bee. It's also called Brahmari in Sanskrit. So I'm going to teach this practice for about half an hour, but I really encourage people doing this practice to practice for longer than that. You can do any part of the practice you'd like to do. You don't have to do the whole thing. If one part of it speaks to you, then you want to stay with that and ignore the rest, that's fine. But the physical exercises are helpful in terms of opening up muscles that might constrict blood flow. But the breathing is the essential part. So if one were to just do the physical exercises without paying attention to the breath, I think you'd get a benefit. But if you just did the breathing and not the exercises, I think it'd be even more of more benefit. So doing the breathing is really important. So we'll start with lying down on the floor on the back body. Or you can also lie in a bed or a couch. Usually a firm sort of surface. And I would recommend having your feet on the floor, knees bent. Because when we do lie like this, the curves of the spine are elongated. And our diaphragm for breathing, which is a muscle right under the rib cage, the lungs attached to it, can function at its best. And that's what we would like it to do. So you can put your hands on your stomach, on your belly, eyes are closed, and I have a cushion under my head. Slightly tilt my chin and relax it so that my neck is not hyperextended back, it's not arched, it's long, and that also helps breathing. And then you can have glasses on or off. And then hands can be on the belly or abdomen, and then inhale and exhale. And as you inhale, feel that the belly can expand. And as you exhale, feel the belly can sink back. It is extremely important that when you inhale, the belly comes forward, and when you exhale, the belly goes back. If we reverse breathe, and reverse breathing is inhaling belly back, exhaling belly forward. When we reverse breathe, our body thinks we're under stress, and all the stress hormones get fired up, and the nervous system goes into fight or flight mode, sympathetic nervous system gets triggered, and nitric oxide I don't think is going to make it. So we're going to inhale, belly forward, exhale, belly back. And when you breathe naturally like this, you also massage the nerves that relate to stress release. Parasympathetic nervous system, stress release. Very important for Raynaud syndrome to not be stressed. Inhaling into the belly, exhaling, release the belly back. breathe through the nose. Continue that. If not now, for 5 or 10 minutes on your own, continue it after the yoga practice. Also, what we're going to try to do is hum. So you're going to inhale, now exhale and hum. Inhale through the nose, belly forward, and hum. Pulling your belly back. Keep going. Keep going while I'm talking with the belly forward when you inhale. Breathe through the nose. Exhale. Breathe through the nose and hum. Keep going. Draw the humming out. If you're gasping for breath, you're trying too hard, just go back to regular breathing, take a break, and then try the deep humming breath. Change the pitch. Higher pitch humming, lower pitch humming. See where you feel the vibration of the hum in your body. Humming itself, the vibration of humming is really important for the human body. So take your time and hum throughout the practice. I was teaching a class the other day. This whole week we've been teaching or practicing humming breath in the classes, and we do it in all the postures. So then we're going to start to let the knees drop. And if you let your knees drop to the right, exhale. And then take the left knee back to the left and let the right leg follow. What people often do with this is we'll do this like windshield wipers, and we'll keep the knees together. That takes a lot of tension in the inner groins and thighs to keep our legs together. We would like the muscles and joints in this practice to relax so the capillaries and the blood vessels in the muscles have maximum space. So drop the knees to the right. On an exhalation, humming, take your left leg back to the left and the right leg follows. Inhale. I've got a yoga block in the way here. Exhale. Same thing. Take your right leg back to the right and let the left leg follow. And feel the back of the pelvis coming onto the floor part by part, bit by bit. You can draw your knees to the chest and do the same thing. This is a little stronger release for the upper back. So let the left leg come to the left, the legs fall apart, the lower back comes onto the floor part by part, bit by bit. Exhale to the other side. Wait, let the legs release and drop to the left. Then exhale, take the right leg back to the right and let the left leg follow. Try to keep humming, or if you cannot hum all the way through this, hum once in a while. Breathe through your nose. Then the arm movement. Your legs are on the right. Have a pillow under your head still. Take the left arm up and over to the right. On an exhalation, let the left arm come up to the ceiling. Inhale deeply. Exhale, let the left arm come back to the left and onto the floor. The ground. Feel the arm on the ground. You may feel a stretch across the top of the chest. The collarbone area is really important to release that area for circulation and come back again to the right. Humming. If you can. If you're tired of humming, take a little break and try it again. When you're ready, we'll take the legs over to the left. Exhaling, let them drop to the left. Let the right arm drop to the right. It might be way up off the floor. If it's impossible to drop it to the ground, bring a pillow, a cushion, a blanket, or a towel. Yoga blocks are not ideal because they're not very big to support the arm. The idea is relaxation. In relaxation, the body can regenerate itself. The circulation can improve. Take the right arm up and over to the left. Inhale deeply and exhale. And feel the back of the body coming back onto the floor. In day-to-day life, when we move, we keep our back, generally, we often keep our back and hips as if they're a board. And we move our arms and legs. That is exhausting for the body. In daily life, we're trying to move in yoga practice with the flexibility of the body. Our bodies are very jointed. So humming, take the arm back to the other side, and then bring the legs back to the center. And then shake your arms and legs out, shaking vibration to loosen the muscles and the capillaries. Even though they're upside down here, it is a shift for them and for the tissues of the body. And then you can circle the back of the pelvis. Feel that you're moving from the back of the pelvis and not just the knees. We're trying to move from the spine out into the limbs. And then go the other way. Any of these movements, if you want to stay in them for the whole exercise, the whole yoga practice, one movement speaks to you and you want to stay there, please feel free to do that. And then we're going to come to take the right knee to the chest. And if you have a yoga belt, put your yoga belt on. You can use a necktie or a belt, a pant belt or something. And then exhale and take your right leg to the right. Hum. And keep going, and then bring your right leg to the center and take your right leg across the front of the body over to the left. Keep humming. Think of this as the human body as a musical instrument, and that we send the sound current of the vibration of bee's breath through the body, and the musical instrument changes shape. So as we change shape through this yoga practice, we will feel the vibration in different parts of the body. And really, when you stand up and hum, you can feel vibration in the soles of your feet. Okay, so this is an important stretch for the back, low back, hamstrings, outer leg, IT band. Really helpful for people with sore knees and low back, all kinds of issues. And then we'll bring the leg to the floor and feel the right leg and the left leg. You can hum. And so the right leg often feels more grounded, more released into the floor after the stretching. And then we'll take the belt on the left foot. And you can leave your right foot on the floor, right knee on the floor if that feels better for your lower back. I tend to lengthen it out. And then you can take your left leg to the left and hum. Back to the center in your own time and to the right. Try to let your knee lengthen. Not a fan of saying straighten your leg because that kind of sounds like you're pushing the knee back. Think about elongating up into the belt. So leg to the left, humming. Every single time we're humming, we're increasing nitric oxide. It's a natural occurring gas in the body. We need it for circulation and for the immune system. And according to James Nestor, who wrote the book Breath, when we use the humming breath, we increase that gas by 15 times. Okay, so then you can have both feet on the floor. Take your time, inhale into the belly, ribs, chest, and exhale, the belly sink back. Breathe through the nose. And hum. And see where you can feel breath movement in the body. You can try both legs long now. After stretching both legs with the belt, they might feel more elongated. The muscles can feel longer, more space for the body and the circulatory system. Another posture we can try is bridge pose. And you bring your feet to the floor, at least hip width apart. On an exhalation, see about curling the pelvis off the floor, then the lower back comes up. I push the pillow out from under my head because it feels better for me to have my head on the floor. If you have a yoga block, you can take the yoga block under your sacrum, under the bony plate between the two sides of your hips. If you do not have a yoga block, you can use a pillow, a couch pillow or something like that, throw pillow. This is to open up the hip flexors, which are right where the leg edges the pelvis. This is often recommended for people with contraction in their lower back. So it's a natural way of lengthening the lower back. Again, creating more space for circulation. And of course humming, and then coming down, and please stay longer in that posture. Feel the back on the floor after that supported back bend. It may feel more elongated, more released, more in contact with the ground. And then we'll draw the knees to the chest, circle them again. And then we'll inhale and exhale. We're going to roll up and down on the spine a bit, and we'll come all the way up. So we're going to come into cat pose on the hands and knees. And if you have sore knees, you might need a blanket under both knees, not just the sore one, but under both knees. Hands are around shoulder width apart. Now we're just going to start the spine moving here. Exhaling, rounding the spine up, letting the head drop. Breathe through the nose. Inhale and exhale. Take your hands to the right. We'll sit the hips back and stretch the left side ribs. Breathe into the side ribs to stretch them and open them. Exhale and round up and dip down. And you can take your hands to the left and sit the hips back and stretch into the right side ribs, humming. Rounding up, moving around back to the center. Then downward facing dog pose. We'll inhale deeply, exhale, take the toes under and stretch the legs in down dog. You can alternately bend the knees. It's often difficult for people to breathe through their nose when they're upside down, but it is a yoga way of helping the sinuses clear. I guess it moves things around. Some variations you can try in down dog is one leg up. Just a stronger stretch on the standing leg. And from down dog, we come back to cat pose. And then we're going to come into lunge. This is an important posture, I think, for circulation and Raynaud syndrome because it opens the hip flexor pretty strongly. So we're going to bring the left foot forward. You can start with the right one. And see about coming up in lunge. So sometimes this is so strong for a lot of people here through the front of the hip that what we'll do is we'll come back. So then it's not really open, so it's really important to drop your pelvis forward. Inhale, exhale, and hum. The benefit of this, bringing this humming breath into the yoga practice instead of just at the beginning or the end, is you get to feel how the breath is experienced through the body. So like a musical instrument, the body vibrates with the sound current of humming. But the body is really interesting because we can change its shape. You know, violins and pianos have the same shape, whereas human bodies can really change shape. This is reverse lunge, which is a powerful stretch for the front of the back of the front leg. And then we'll exhale and we'll take that foot back, that leg back, and then bring the other one forward. And if this is a concern for the knee, the back knee, which is my left knee, you might want a pillow or towel or blanket underneath it, and then coming up and dropping forward here. And try humming again. It really helps you stay in a posture longer too. And then see about dropping back into reverse lunge. Letting your head drop and your neck release. And then coming back out again. So we're going to try down dog again. This time you can bring your knees a little bit further forward. So you have a shorter down dog, or your hands back towards your knees. Inhale and exhale and coming up into downward facing dog pose. And you can come up onto the toes and release back. Okay, and then inhale and exhale and come up and release back. Great. And then we're going to come down. So we'll come to the knees. And we're going to come into child's pose with the knees apart and dropping forward with the head on the floor. Deep inhalation and deep exhalation. Let the belly come forward as you inhale and back as you exhale. And then I want to take a moment and stretch into the arms and release into the arms. So there's a few movements that can help with this in terms of opening the circulatory system for the arms. One is taking the arm out to the side, and it's really helpful if you have a wall. You might do this standing, I'm kneeling. But you bring your hand onto the wall and see about opening the collarbone here. So right under the collarbone, there's an outlet called the thoracic outlet. And there's a lot of nerve tissue that goes through this area. And if it gets contracted, then it affects the flow of blood and connective tissue into the hands, and people get wrist pain. So also implicated for problems with circulation. So your hand can be below shoulder height, above shoulder height, or at shoulder height, and above shoulder height. And it's like you're trying to turn away. And when the first time people do this, it can be pretty painful. It can be a pretty strong stretch. And you just have to see, some people like to be closer to the wall and they feel a more beneficial stretch if they're closer to the wall. Above, below shoulder height and at shoulder height. And then, if you have your arms at your sides, you've just on one side, that arm feels a lot longer. And so you can turn and try the other side when you're ready. So I've sort of angled myself a little bit away from the wall. You have to play around. For everybody's body is a little bit different. So if you angle yourself away from the wall, if you're standing, I don't know if you can see me in the camera, standing, you can stand like you're going to walk away from the wall, but your hand's on the wall. So try those 3 heights again. And coming back. Okay, and then sitting or standing for circulation in the arms. We can borrow some of the yoga movements from another style of yoga called Kundalini Yoga. And we do rhythmic movements with the breath in Kundalini Yoga. So try shoulder shrugging. It's kind of quick, and breathe through your nose. It's inhale, exhale. Every time you're up, you're inhaling, down you're exhaling, breathe through your nose. This is breath of fire. It's also a nitric oxide producing breath. We did about 50 of them. Another movement that's powerful for circulation into the hands and fingers is arms up at shoulder height, and it's inhale left, exhale right. Breathe through the nose. Another one is this movement of inhale, right arm back, left hand on the chest, exhale. then coming back. And then try the shoulder shrugging again. And then head rolling. Head forward, inhaling, chin up. So you can let your neck lengthen, but don't let your head flop back. Exhaling down, rotating. Our bodies during the day go through certain movements. When we're working or driving or cooking or walking, but they don't go through our full range of movement, and so change direction with the circles. So when we don't do the full range of movement, those muscles and capillaries tend to get unused, they're underperforming, so they don't work as well. So that's pretty much what I can think of for this tape for Raynaud's and circulation problems. If you want to do more for the legs and feet, you can also do another thing we borrowed from Kundalini Yoga just before we finish off with some more breathing as an aside, is crisscrossing the legs. Inhale, exhale, breathe through the nose. And then coming back, feet on the floor. I'm going to sit up, but you can lie with your feet on the floor, a cushion under your head. Relax your throat and neck, no tension. Relax the jaws, relax the eyes, and start the humming breath again. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose. We usually start exhaling and humming. You can also inhale and hum. And see where you feel the vibration in the body. Just try another few minutes of humming. Either, lying down is highly recommended, because I think when we're lying down, the body is not tensing itself up to try to sit up, so that the cells, the tissues of the body are really relaxed, so that vibration can go through. And so humming is important because of the vibration it gives to the body and wakes everything up. And we produce nitric oxide when we hum. It's a natural occurring gas in the body, NO, a naturally occurring gas of nitric oxide. It's in this really interesting book. It just came out recently, where James Nestor says when we hum, we increase nitric oxide 15 times. And studies have shown that for Raynaud's problems, infusions of nitric oxide are beneficial. So if we can increase our own nitric oxide, that would be helpful. Oh, I was reading an article today that beet juice also has a lot of nitric oxide, or helps the body produce nitric oxide. So that's the practice. If I come up with some other ideas for this, I will do another video. So thank you. Have a great evening.